Hi guys, in this video we are gonna show you what is to be Poblano, the most important and interesting history of Puebla and the contrast with the current situation in our state. With the colony, were introduced some artistic expression as the Baroque, which was used for buildings and monuments.
This artistic movement, mainly churches were built, where was learned to the doctrine of Catholicism. It was also a new lifestyle for our ancestors.
A lot of people this art style didn't like it. Something to do was very expensive, because they used different materials like gold.
Monument voids are part of our culture and story because thanks to this construction, a new way of seeing the arts was introduced.
The Baroque is a very difficult art style to make it because contains many details. Generally, the pace of constructions that contain this type of art are very expensive.
The mestiçage began thanks to the fact that different ethnic groups arrived to the state. Mestizos were a combination of born of Spanish man with an indigenous woman.
This caused a greater development in the population and new social sector.
Also caused the collapse of cultures, discrimination, and reduction of the indigenous population.
Thanks to the union of cultures, today we have a great ethnic and cultural diversity.
We also lost part of our ancient culture in Puebla, as our beliefs, cultural practice, etc.
On April 16 in 1531, Puebla was founded by Fray Toribio de Benavente. In the same year, a second foundation was made because the city was flooded and it was recognized as the City of the Angels.
Between the port and the Veracruz, in the main city, there is nothing in the middle, so a need in place has the opposing city.
Puebla was the second city most important of New Spain. It was the first city to have business without paying taxes, and we had the largest and most important historic center in Latin America.
Something that hurt us was the Spanish people to took over our lands or robbed the indigenous.
Today is a free and sovereign state, and thanks to that, we are governed by our own laws and culture, and this differentiates us from other places in the world.
Instead, we have our difficulties and mistakes. We can move forward as long as we are united.
Franciscan orders arrived in New Spain to introduce a new doctrine to the indigenous.
Maintain word of English you.
Well, he let us manage his grace because we don't understand him. Let's go somewhere.
You will not go everyone without fears accept in the religion. And if you don't accept, it's fact that you don't live here alive.
Okay, we accept your religion and doctrine.
New doctrines, we had a new religion. They also introduced the first books to transmit Catholicism.
Number one could have access to books. The linguists multiplied in right the Franciscans.
Thanks to the little by little the doctrines were introduced in a way we had the freedom to decide and believe what we want.
At present, there may be several conflicts due to diversity of religions.
Puebla was reduced the sowing of the corn as part of the first beginnings of farming.
What will you do with that corn?
I can make some tortillas and tamales.
I will make some tamales.
Stop talking during work hours. Remember that tomorrow you have to give me the money of the week. And who doesn't give me, they will stay 5 more hours.
Sir, this is not fair. My family needs. I have money. Call me help.
No, go to work now. Thanks to the earning harvest, I could buy a farm bigger than this. When this harvest is over, I will carry out my plans. Because the work first is a very cheap. I almost don't invest any money and I get big profit. What a good business!
In that moment, those conditions were a benefit for us because it generated a bigger economy and more jobs.
We recognize in the society for this historical fact. This situation generates tourism and help in our economy. Also in Puebla, the corn is part of our gastronomy.
Clearly, the corn is the best legacy of our ancestors, but it, in this excess, could generate health problems because it has a big quantity of starch and carbohydrates, which could produce overweight.
The Battle of Puebla took place on May 5 in 1862, near the city of Puebla during the Second French intervention in Mexico. The battle ended in a victory for the Mexican army over the occupying French soldiers, the most powerful army in Europe.
The battle united us as citizens and gave us a lot of strength and courage in these difficult situations. Thanks to that, we won the fight.
National weapons have recovered glory!
The battle did not prevent a year later the European invaders from taking the country.
Thanks to this historic fact, we remember it the day throughout the parade on the state fair.
Remember how hundreds of people died in this great battle.
Thanks for watching this video. We hope you liked it and have learned about the history of Puebla. Bye.